there, Halo fans! Do you love the feeling of slaughtering your enemies up close and just having a lot of fun feeling BA? Then dual wielding is for you. Whether it's making combos of a plasma pistol and a mauler, or just going for 2 SMGs, it's a lot of fun. When I talk to people about their favorite multiplayer in Halo, they seem to point mostly to Halo 2 and 3. Well, guess what? These two have dual wielding. We haven't seen dual wielding in a Halo game since they did away with it in 2009. The idea at the time of ODST coming out was that we couldn't dual wield as a regular soldier that wasn't physically enhanced because we were not playing as a Spartan anymore. Then Bungie in the next year decided that in Halo Reach we would not continue the tradition of having 2 guns at once. Bungie went out of their way to try to make Reach the best Halo yet, but at the same time their contract was up. They didn't need to play it safe and keep the formula that works. They got to use Reach as an experiment, more or less. They were able to try new things that had potential for high reward without the high risk on their neck in the future. Not only did Bungie change core gameplay in Reach with armor abilities, they removed dual wielding. Besides them excluding the Flood from the game, this was my biggest heartache of how I felt about the direction of the game, that they removed dual wielding. They removed this epic BA mechanic where you could feel on top of the world. Halo 3 had an MLG behind it, and Reach might have been trying to become a more competitive game with the removal of dual wielding, but wait, if Bungie was trying to make it competitive, why add armor lock? Dual wielding, I believe, in Halo 3 puts combined weapons at 150%, and correct me if I'm wrong, it has nasty recoil most of the time as well as being short range. Not only is dual wielding kept in relative balance, but it's fine-tuned at least for a little bit of competitive play. So first of all, let's not even talk about keeping dual wielding out of ranked playlists. Why wouldn't it work with keeping high recoil and super small attack range? Dual wielding at its prime damage is a distance farther than a shotgun but still within range of a Halo 3 BR. It adds variety into the sandbox. Can you imagine if there were different classes of weapons like in Halo 5? Now, take that idea, imagine it in Halo 3. Let's say that there are 5 kinds of SMGs. I'm going to talk about what 2 of them could be like. What could be a higher fire rate at a longer range, and one could be a shorter range, higher recoil SMG that can dual wield. Then 343 could do whatever they want with the other 3 types of SMGs. This makes it so that you can have your main SMG for competitive and special SMG for dual wielding that can also be used in this competitive nature. If there are trade-offs like this in weapon variants made specifically to dual wield, it could balance dual wielding as a whole. Like every time you have the dual wielding variant on a map, you can put 2 of them down. This idea could be used for ranked playlists. Why not? From what I understand, the biggest problem with dual wielding is balancing the weapons for solo use and dual wielding. This idea would negate that completely. The same solo and dual wield variant ideas could be done for all weapons in order to balance dual wielding as a whole. Now let's say 343 doesn't like this idea. They don't think in any way dual wielding could be in ranked playlists. This system would still work for anything unranked or even Warzone. Like let's say in Warzone, when you get an SMG wreck, what if it was a dual wield variant and it spawned you with 2 of them? You could keep this idea throughout the game by implementing it like I talked about in Warzone and find a way to put it in campaign. I know if at the very least that 343 put dual wielding in the campaign or just Forge for custom games, we as fans would be happy for what we get. If somehow this video gets seen by a lot of people or a 343 member in the future, hear us out. Yes, most of us want dual wielding even if it's only campaign or custom games in the future of what we get. That's the worst case scenario to look at, but it's a lot better than what we have now. Now what about weapons like the Needler? In Halo 2 you could dual wield needles, but it was undoubtedly overpowered. That's why they took it out in Halo 3. It was fun, and I know we'd all jump at the chance to use them together in a modern Halo. How can two Needlers be balanced? Well, let's talk about the idea of weapon variants again. What if the solo Needler variant was faster than the dual wielding ones? This way it can inflict the intended damage, but have a faster fire rate so that the dual wield variant doesn't become extremely overpowered. Now what if the dual wielding Needlers that fire slower were better in accuracy and closer range? Needlers have never been too good right next to somebody. If you're close enough to sidestep a needle, then it kind of negates most of all the damage. What if dual wielding Needlers were good for up close, but immediately became ineffective at mid-range or farther? We'd have the best of both worlds, and it sounds like a good solution to me. But these are just my thoughts on dual wielding, and I would kill to bring it back. But the point is, 343 needs to know that we want it back, even if not in our ranked playlists and not in matchmaking, even though it could easily work with the ideas that I've presented. Core features that are fan favorites should never be removed from Halo. We have had 3 AAA Halo releases without classic style Halo that everyone is craving right now. Do you want dual wielding back? What do you think of my ideas on dual wielding? Thanks for watching. I will catch you guys next time. Stay awesome, YouTubers.